Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third annual Women in Trading Conference. In fact, women teach trading and investing. And this event is brought to you by TradeOutLoud and Timing Research. And let's not forget that this event is recorded, and David is doing a phenomenal job having the recordings available as soon as they're processed. The recordings will be available on the Timing Research website and also on the Timing Research YouTube channel. So with us today, we have a phenomenal panel of women traders, women that trade every day. With us today, we have Melissa Armo of the StockSwoosh.com. We have Megan Brantley of LikeFolio.com. Hi, Megan. I loved your presentation yesterday.
Thank you.
And we have Nargis Motorwala. Nargis, so happy you can make it here. Nargis is such a phenomenal contributor on Twitter. She is phenomenal. She is trading stocks, futures, so she's a really great asset. Please follow her on Twitter. She's phenomenal. Archna, Jagtiani, I hope I pronounced your name right, from ArchnaTrades.com. And she's also on Twitter, Real Trader Guys, and she's phenomenal. She's doing options. If you have any questions about options trading or stocks, she's the one to go to. Marina Villatoro, she's the futures trader from the TraderCheck.com. She's an expat in Guatemala, in beautiful Guatemala. And she's here with us today. We have Jody Samuels. Jody, I miss you. I can't wait until we do the Traders Expos once again and money shows, so we could get together. And Jody Samuels, FXTradersEdge.com. And we have Sunny Harris of MoneyMentor.com here with us today. Such a treat. And we have Julie Mans of TraderInsight.com. And of course, yours truly, Anka Metcalf with TradeOutLoud. So I just want to do a little disclaimer here. So before we get started on our questions, all information provided by us today will be for educational purpose only, obviously, and could not be construed as investment advice. So trading involves a high level risk, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows this. It may not be suitable for all investors because you could lose money. And before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your objectives, your level of experience, your risk appetite, because each individual performance depends upon each person's skill, time commitment, and effort. It's all about effort. It's all about that hard work. There are no cutting corners here. Results may not be typical. Individual results will vary, and you must do your own research and take your own trading decisions. So be accountable for your trading. All right. So welcome, ladies.
I have two quick corrections real fast. Julie had something come up and she won't be able to join us, and Jody is not here either.
Okay.
But everyone else is here. So
okay,
that's all.
Awesome. All right, let's get started, ladies. Well, first of all, I think we should do a little presentation for some of the traders that missed day 1 to day 4 and learn a little bit about you guys. So we're going to start with you, Melissa, if that's okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. I don't know what time it is. It's 1 o'clock.
I know.
It's been a long week.
From trading.
Yeah. I live in Manhattan, and my name is Melissa Armo, and I've been trading since the end of 2008, and I started my own company about 3 years into trading, and my company is called the Stock Swoosh. You can go to my website, www.thestockswoosh.com. So I live in New York, and I trade in my apartment in Manhattan. And then I also appear in television, which I used to go to studios, but then COVID hit. So now I appear on TV from Skype. So I trade gaps. For those of you that don't know, I look at a gap in the morning. A gap is the difference between the close and the open. And I short gap downs and I go long gap ups. And today, actually, we're long GPS, which is a bullish gap. So that's working very well today. And the market's trying to make a little comeback here too. We'll see if it can. It's do or die for the market as far as I'm concerned here into the close, because if the market can't close green today and hold this sell-off that we had this week, then look out below, because the market looks terrible if we don't hold today.
I agree. And isn't it funny? Yeah, I was to the long side today as well. I was, trading futures long, and I did get a lot of questions in the room saying, oh, why don't you like shorting? It's like, I'm shorting when the opportunity is there. And take it from Melissa, she loves shorting. I mean, she does.
I do love to short. But the problem is that the market is extremely bullish. And you can say, well, it doesn't make any sense because the fundamentals of the economy right now are against what's going on overall in the market. But the market rallied to made new highs so many times last year, even up until the election period, and even at the beginning of 2021, even though the fundamentals are bad. But we did have good data this morning. We had better than expected data this morning for the unemployment number, slightly lower than expected, so that was good. But I look at technicals, I don't look at fundamentals anyways, but I do love to short. We did some good shorts at the beginning of the week, but once something gets umpteen days down, you say, well, you've got to get something that still has more room to fall for more selling. So we didn't short the market today.
Okay, awesome. All right, Marina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your company and what you do?
Hi, sure. Thank you again for having me here. I am Marina, the Trader Chick, and I am an expat that I live in Antigua, Guatemala. So for me, it is afternoon as well. It's noon. I thought it was 11. I think next week is going to be 2 hours behind. I mainly trade the ES mini futures. I'm mainly into scalping. So I like to go in super quick. 1 point targets, usually trades that last between 1 to 3 minutes, 100% technicals. I don't really care if the market is going up or down as far as trading. It really sucks for the overall market right now when it's totally bleeding. But as far as trading, you can get amazing opportunities going down, up. So it's been a great market as far as that goes. And that's about
awesome, Marina. I think, Melissa, you and I have something in common: instant gratification, right? Get in and out, momentum, done.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So we're going to continue with Nargis. Nargis, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what you do, what you like to look at in the market.
Hi, Anka. Thank you for inviting me here. Actually, it's nice, to be among women and traders. We are still a minority in the, big boys club. So this is a cool thing. So happy to be part of it. And I generally, 90% of my trading is ES and family. So I trade futures. And then XPX is, I keep going up and down using my put credit spread or the call credit spread, or sometimes ICs I take, depending on, and I follow the Gann theory. So I have my levels and I do price cycles and time cycles. So based on that, I'm following my levels. If it comes to my level, then I go long or short, doesn't matter the direction. And if you had been looking at my Twitter, then I had called out that 38.45 on ES is a price cycle completion with a within 25% hit to 39.07. And since then, the time we hit, we are just moving around in that tight range. And just yesterday, we broke that range and came down. Now, if this is a real pullback to cool off the pressure in the indices, because there was no cool off, then we may see a little bit lower. Everything is oversold, so it's a bounce, which was expected. I went long yesterday, actually on futures. 37.21 was my number. I went there long and exited today morning with my SPY calls and XPX IC. So yeah. So, and we had taken some Amazon and Google I traded based on those levels itself. So Amazon was 28.70, I had said, and it made a low of 28.81. So pretty close.
Yeah, Google was Googles were pretty strong today.
Pretty strong, so, yes.
Yeah, pretty strong today. Yeah, lots of. Nargis, I have to say, I do not know a lot of traders that use Gann analysis, and especially women. It is very complicated. I mean, it is not easy, to read all the indicators that you have. But I have to say, I'm impressed by your accuracy. Definitely a follow, guys. You can find her on Twitter. She shares all these ideas for free. I mean, it's amazing. Okay.
I know. Right. I haven't gotten the urge to charge yet. Maybe someday. Maybe I need to take a training from you, side hustle a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Megan, you have the mic like folio.
Hi, my name's Megan. I'm the Vice President of Research at Likefolio. Just some background on myself. I did not have any type of finance or trading background, even whenever I came to work for Likefolio. What we're doing is we're listening for what consumers are talking about on social media, and we're aggregating a ton of data. So you can kind of think of this as like an alternative data lens to kind of supplement your own trading strategies, your own hypotheses. So we're looking for times when we see consumer demand heading in one way and maybe the market is headed in the other way. So we're looking for these, divergence opportunities. We're looking for signs of continued growth, and we're really trying to find whenever we think that, maybe there are opportunities where a specific stock may be overbought, oversold, based on consumer data, though. So I think that that's kind of a different take than a lot of you guys, from what it sounds like. But it's very, very fascinating. It's been a fun 4 years of kind of learning this industry and how to apply this consumer data.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting because the market has changed so much lately. I mean, this is not the market that we had last year or 2 years ago, or, the market is ever changing. I mean, there's a new ETF called Buzz. I mean, obviously social media, is influencing the market right now and can move the markets. I mean, did you guys see what happened with GME today?
Yes.
I mean, hello, over 150. I didn't look at it now, but wow, look at NASDAQ and the Qs. Woo, nice. All right. So, Sunny, tell us a little about yourself and what you do in your company.
Well, I trade for my own account primarily. I have had a hedge fund, but I don't like people calling me and asking me every day how I'm doing. So I gave up the hedge fund for that. But I started trading in 1981. So I've been trading for over 40 years now. And I did that because I sold my software company and retired when I was 30. And I had a whole lot of money to invest. And so I gave it to professional advisors, money managers. And in the first 3 weeks, they lost $75,000, which back then was a lot more money than it is now. And I just said that I can do that poorly on my own. So I decided to learn. And at this point, I've read more than 340 books on trading and investing. And I trade primarily the E-mini, the futures, but I also have a long-term portfolio. So I trade stocks, whatever's moving, and it doesn't matter to me long or get out. But in the futures, of course, I trade long and short both. And I like short better than long because it moves faster.
Faster. There you go, Sunny. You're into our instant gratification group.
Exactly. I trade 4 or 5 times a day. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I've written 5 books on trading.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Maybe you can share the books with us so we can have them on our panel, on our YouTube channel, so traders can go there for reference. That would be phenomenal. Not a lot of books written by women. Okay, so this is a treat. Okay.
Well, my biggest one is TradeStation Made Easy, 744 pages of Made Easy. So
I love Made Easy.
Yeah, I write the how to get started kind of books.
I love that. I love that because there are so many traders that want to get started and do not know where to go.
Have no clue how to start.
Exactly. And they're dipping into really complicated strategies and analysis when they don't even know the difference between a candlestick and a bar chart, or
they don't know the basics.
They don't know the basics.
In my own trading, I use everything I know. I have an indicator I call Sunny Bands that I use primarily because it tells you tops and bottoms real nicely. But I've developed my own dynamic moving average, but I also use Fibonacci retracements, and I do use GAN as well. And something that I call attractors, which is support and resistance with a few added bells and whistles. So, pennants, anything I can use, I bring it forward.
Anything we can use to our advantage to nail the market and squeeze profits out of it, squeeze it really tight like a lemon.
Right. And I tell my students, you're competing against me when you're trading.
Yeah.
So you better know as much as I know.
Exactly. Exactly. You were a hedge fund.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Sunny, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Archna. Okay, options specialist here in the house. She is trading primarily options, and she has a new website, ArchnaTrades.com. Archna, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
Yeah, I am exactly like Sunny in the sense that in 2008, 2009, when the market was crashing, and my portfolio, the financial advisor that had made, I lose money. And then when the market is back in 2010, 50%, and my portfolio is still in the trenches. And I tell my husband, okay, why am I paying fees to lose 85% of my money? I can do that by myself. And I was always interested in finance. And then I started studying. I did courses, started trading, lost money, learned. But then I thought the best way to get better was to start teaching. So I applied to be a moderator in the place that I studied and did moderating for 4 or 5 years there. And then got hired by Samantha at Laduk Trading. So I was a moderator there and taught a 1-hour class there. And now I'm like ready to do my own. So I started it in November, ArchnaTrades.com. And I did not want to do the online courses because my hobby has always been to tutor math, which I still do. I just can't let go of teaching math. So I'm like, everybody is different. So I don't like the concept of just making a course online and keeping it out there because everybody trades differently. Everybody learns differently, especially teaching kids. I realized one method works for one kid. The other method works for somebody else. So I do one-on-one mentoring for options education. And I have Twitter trade alerts subscription. So anybody who wants to see what I trade can follow me on my premium Twitter.
Awesome. So guys, you can find Archna on Twitter. She's very active. She posts a lot of trade ideas. And I think the bottom line is that, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on Twitter, I kind of like use it as my watch list that then I could go back and say, okay, how did that? So it's that accountability, So I think it works pretty good. So for those of you that do not know me, my name is Anka Metcalf, and I'm the CEO and founder of TradeOutLoud.com, which is a trading education firm that specialized in educating individuals how to day trade and swing trade the futures and the equities markets. I'm coming from the institutional background. I've worked in investment banking for 10 years. Following that period, I had very long commute time, so I decided to start trading on my own. So I dove into day trading. So I had to take some courses for day trading. I was trading stocks for quite some time. So a lot of stock day trading stocks. So swing trading stocks, I've always swing trading stocks, but day trading, I have implemented this recently, like in the last 18 years, if you could say recently. But anyway, so long story short, I still have a love for stocks. So I swing trade stocks, but I want to simplify my life. So I am trading, I found my niche into day trading futures and for tax purposes and all that fun stuff. So I basically day trade and swing trade the equities and the futures market, and TradeOutLoud came about 11 years ago. So we have been around for 11 years. So that's a little bit about myself. Now let's move on and let's try to find out, Melissa, I'm going to start with you. What is that one indicator that you cannot live without?
Hi. As far as indicators go, really, I look at Japanese candlesticks as an indicator. So what a candlestick is, it's an indicator of the price action. Way back, 100 years ago, when people were trading before we had electronic trading, people traded the tape. I actually could do that because I look at numbers, but it makes it a lot easier when you have Japanese candlesticks. So the Japanese candlestick is an indicator which tells me where the price is going. Is the price moving higher or lower? And I use the filled in bodies where the bullish bars are filled in green and the bearish bars are filled in red. And then I have my background and my charts as white. So there are line charts which you could use, but the bodies aren't filled in. I don't use them. I like the filled in ones, and it makes it easier for me to read the price. So price is my indicator in reference to the Japanese candlesticks.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Marina, what is that one indicator that you cannot live or trade without?
So my favorite indicator that I literally cannot do anything without is the MACDs. I find the MACDs to be the least lagging indicator. It really shows me where there's divergence, where there is weakness in the market, where there's strength in the market. So pretty much without the MACDs, I can't even decide if it's a good place or not unless I have that right in front of my face. So yeah, that's my favorite one.
Okay, Nargis, what is your favorite indicator?
So
that you cannot trade without.
So there are two parts to it. So originally, when I had started my technical analysis, I got introduced to the 10 simple moving average, and till date it has stuck to me. So that's kind of my radar to see where price is, especially on the indices, the monthlies and the weeklies. So every day I note the price at the closing of SPY at the end of the day to see how the divergence is. So that's my go-to indicator so far, and it hasn't failed me yet. But since I got introduced to GAN, levels are my indicator. So right now, I don't even need a chart to figure out where the price is or what it wants to do, because it's a price cycle I'm looking at. But the picture view of a chart, candles and everything, it makes it so much easier to see and, look at and to tell someone, especially if I'm posting on Twitter, so it's easier for them to see also.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Megan, I know that you do not use an indicator per se, but you're using social media as an indicator. Do you want to add anything else here?
Yeah, I think that, we're tracking a couple of different metrics, and there are a couple of different ways that you could apply social media as an indicator. Some people do, they look at cash tags, these mentions of these cash tags. And I think that that's what you're seeing a lot with buzz. Other people, you can look at just mentions of a company, but the metric that we track that we found to be most predictive, at least of underlying revenue, is purchase intent. So we're listening for this metric of when people are actually completing purchases, because it gives us an insight before the company reports how we expect that revenue to fall in line. So I would say from an indicator perspective, at least for us, that purchase intent metric is really, really valuable to spot potential winners or potential losers.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Sunny, I know you mentioned that you use GAN, you use candlesticks, you use everything. What is that one go-to indicator that if they take it away from you, if your broker is going to take it away from you, you're going to suffer?
Well, I use my own Sunny bands. I developed those. I started originally, 35 years ago using MACD and ADX together. But I did find that they were too lagging for me. Even a little bit of lag when you're trading 4 or 5 times a day is too much. So I invented, I'm a mathematician and a programmer. So I created my own dynamic moving average, which close to eliminates whipsaw, which is nice. It stays in the trade if there's whipsaw, and it continues with the trend. So I used that, and then I created bands around ATR bands around the dynamic moving average. So it really shows me when stocks or the futures are about to make a turn. So I get in very close to the top and the bottom now. And I couldn't live without it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Archna, what is that one magic indicator for you?
It used to be RSI, but since last year, it's been Tesla. They can't take that away from me. I mean, that is the biggest one. If it closes above 600, I'm bullish. That's for me today.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay. And unique. All right. I have to say that my favorite indicator, if you can call it like that, is price action. Because I'm like with Melissa on this one, I cannot live without knowing my bullish bars, my bearish bars. I love to have them color coded. In fact, everything on my platform and my charts is color coded. I like to see momentum of continuation, whether higher or lower, whether the price is getting rejected at a certain point into resistance, whatever that resistance may be, or whether it is getting a rotation off the bottom of support. So for me, price action is one of the most important indicators because it shows momentum, it shows dynamic, it shows market participation as well, if it's getting pushed or pulled in either direction. All right, so let's continue with the next trade. Okay. With the next question. Okay. What is your favorite trading pattern? Archna, I'm going to start with you this time. Do you have a favorite trading pattern?
Yes. I look for breakouts or breakdowns of wedges, ascending or descending wedges. Yeah.
Awesome. Love breakouts as well. Sunny, what is your favorite pattern?
The thing that I watch most often that's not one of my own indicators is support and resistance. So if we have long-term support, you know, and you watch for the market to drop right to that place, and then I'll take a trade against the support or resistance. Right now, by the way, Tesla is at 595. Just so you know.
Archana.
I know that. I have been looking. That is my thing.
I think she keeps a monitor with Tesla.
Rather than me saying that I'm trying to track social media with Robinhood or whatever that site was, Tesla gives me that gauge.
Yeah. So we know what we're going to get you for your birthday.
I've heard
painting with Tesla charts.
I've heard that Tesla's supposed to have a big announcement after the market closes today.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting because the market is already, so yeah, it's still continuing higher. So this is nice.
Yeah, well, Tesla's continuing lower
on the daily now.
Tesla's continuing lower.
I mean,
the market's up 350 points, the Dow.
I mean, it touched the 150-day moving average today at around 560, 550, and then has been bouncing. So it's been almost a 50-point bounce.
Yeah. Megan, I'm going to ask you, I know like you guys don't really look at patterns, but do you really, you know, kind of like look at the structure of the charts, or it doesn't matter? It's just that social media sentiment that is most important for you guys.
We're definitely going we're definitely going to take that into consideration. You know, that tends to be a pretty good indicator of expectations. You know, obviously if a stock has been on a really strong run, you know, if a lot of growth is expected, then we would want our metrics to be even stronger in order to have a more bullish outlook, or vice versa. So, I mean, you definitely have to take that into account whenever you're looking and applying our metrics. But in general, no, we're not looking for any specific pattern.
Yeah, are you guys monitoring Wall Street bets?
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. One thing that we just launched, you know, before we were focused strictly on what consumers were talking about. And we recently just launched a new product that is just listening for those cash tag mentions specifically, because just like people are talking about different things that they're trading on Wall Street bets, they're also talking about it on Twitter. I know all of us are probably talking about it on Twitter. So if you can aggregate that, it's pretty interesting. Yesterday, the alert that we sent was on GameStop, ironically. So that turned out well for us today.
And it was very interesting because I had an alert and I got into GameStop as well. And it was a technical pattern. So it's interesting to see how the technical pattern combined with all this social media buzz, you know, really kicks it off. So really nice. Nice.
Right?
Awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Nargis, your turn. Do you have like that favorite pattern that you're looking at?
Yes, I do. So as I mentioned, I do look at my levels, and I use Fibonacci on them basically. So I just keep doing those ABCs, going up and down, and the confluence of the different things coming together, like my GAN levels coming together, the Fib numbers coming together. And in that, generally, you will always, or most of the time, you will always get a W pattern. So now also when I posted on Twitter, I had said, if the price is able to go over this on a 30-minute, it was XPX was trying to make a W. If the price goes over, and it will shoot up. And right now we are at 38.14. 38.14 on XPX. So yeah, and this was around 38.60, 37.60 or so. So that's a lot of points from there.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
and by the way, how about you? Do you have a favorite pattern?
Yeah, I truly love divergences with reversal patterns. I know it's nothing too fancy, but I find that they really work. And mainly, they definitely help once that transition happened and once there is a reversal, or even if it is a sideways market that is first, shown to me with a reversal and divergence. But I find that potential of it switching directions or going flat is almost 90%. So if nothing else, I stay out and know when to stay out of bad trades. And I find that is super important, is to understand when to stay out of the market as much as when to get in and out. And I find that those two, I guess it's a pattern, right? I mean, it's pretty simple and really basic to find. But once I see anything, even just reversal pattern and divergence, I already know to stay back and wait until I get a lot more confirmation. And that's pretty much, yeah, everything I use.
Yeah. Okay, Melissa, any favorite patterns?
I actually don't have a favorite pattern per se, because the pattern I look at every morning is the gap. And then I go through a whole 26 points to rate the gap, which is, would take too long to go through. And that's what I teach in my class. But I do want to mention the GME because somebody brought it up. I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole as a trader. One, the stock has been halted so many times, I can't even count it on two hands. So when you're in a trade and you get halted on the live day and you're in a day trade, it is extremely risky because you don't know where it's going to reopen. To say that this will never get halted again it will get halted again. When I look at this chart is completely broken. It's broken. I wouldn't short it. I wouldn't go long it. I don't know why anyone thinks it's going to go to 500. It was in the pre-market at 500, but on the chart on the live day, it never got to 500, and people still think it's going to 1,000. When I look at this, I think this is a very dangerous thing to trade. And if I ever go to that Reddit site, I go to that Reddit site to see what those people are trading, and I don't trade them. I think they've messed up some stocks. They messed up AMC. They messed up this GME. They messed up things that I would normally trade, that the charts look insane. In fact, they all kind of look the same, where they gapped up, had big moves, and then completely sold off like hotcakes. People are long in positions in this that are still down. I know, like I live in New York. I have a doorman. He bought it at 400. Why? He bought it up in the rally. Dave Portnoy, he lives in New York too. He lost 700 grand on this. He bought it at the high and then sold it at the low. And I mean, so this is so dangerous for people to do because they're following that Reddit chat. They think that it's going to go back to these numbers. And the reasons people are saying it are because of what? Because fundamentally they think that the stock is that the company itself is going to do X, Y, Z. Until it does it, you don't know it's going to do it. And to say that all these people are going to jump in, all these retail traders, and push the stock up to 1,000, I think is a long shot at best. And if you trade this, you're basically just better off going to Atlantic City and gambling. I have zero conviction in doing anything that those people have even touched. And I think it's extremely dangerous to trade something that on a regular basis gets halts. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. I can't imagine buying it. It's just like Bitcoin, I'm not going to open another can of worms, but it's just like buying Bitcoin at 50,000 when it's so extended.
Yeah, exactly. And the Bitcoin thing, again, the time to buy that was years and years and years ago when it was pennies on the dollar before it ran up even to 10,000 or 20,000. And the people that bought it when it reached up at the high, which was back, I think the end of 2017 is when it reached that high. And then it took 3 years. Like it took 3.5 years, I think, till it reached over that number and then started to fly, and then it doubled in price again. And then people are going to be trapped in that again. Buying something that's running up, like shorting something that's down 17 days, like the market, for example, today, is extremely dangerous because you're basically chasing your tail in something. You have to have a reason for doing something. If you want to invest in Bitcoin because you think it's going to be the next currency, well, that's a long-term investment. That's not a trade. A trade is something you take it today and you take it because you're going to get out at a certain target or with a certain return on investment that you're going to get out and make money. It's not a long-term investment thing. Bitcoin for a long-term investment, fine. If you want to buy GME for a long-term investment for 10 years from now because you think that all those gaming companies and all that they're going to open up all the stores, but there's no reason anyone should think that that retail, specifically that those retail stores are going to come back when everything as far as retail goes in person stores is crumbling right now because of COVID.
I agree. I have to agree. And plus there has not been the stock is just, it's just GME. It's not something that could fundamentally change even in the next earnings season. I mean, it's nothing that is going to change. It's just getting pushed around. And I know hedge funds that are chasing after Wall Street bets. I mean, this is just crazy. You know, it is. It's so crazy, but it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. So, okay. So I think, one of my favorite patterns has to be the breakout or the breakdown. I love looking for breakouts and breakdowns. They're very easy to identify. I can also say that I don't have a favorite pattern that I trade. So I trade whatever the market provides me with. So whatever the market sets up with. But if I was to categorize, if we have a strong upgoing trend and if we're having a range right at the top, obviously I would go for a breakout. So I love continuation plays with the trend, and especially if they're ranging. So that would be my favorite pattern. Okay. Now let me scroll through the questions here. We're not going to cover all the questions, but okay, I'm going to move on to this. And Nargis, you're going to be the first one now. What keeps you motivated to keep on trading even after you hit even after you hit a loss?
So I, when I was working as an engineer, there was always this restlessness in me. Even though I was progressing, went to my desired position and everything, good salary and everything, there was still this restlessness. And when I got a break after my second son was born, I took a break and then I, tinkered here because that's when I realized that I'm not a morning person. I will never wake up in the morning, but this rain or shine, even when I have high fever, 5 o'clock, I'm at my desk. So this is something which has developed into a passion and a first love. I hope my husband is not listening. So yeah. So yes. So I could just sit in this corner in my desk whole day, whole night, just looking at the chart. Same chart I would be looking and I will not get bored. So I think this is what, so some days I hit, I'm very hard on myself. So if I make a mistake or if I take a loss, then whole day I'm berating myself. Nargis, how could you make a mistake? How could you, in the bathroom, I'll be going and sitting and thinking and making a story, pacifying myself and everything. Then I say, okay, you know what? This is enough. Let's start this. Let me see what I can do, how to rectify this so that I do not repeat this. It's at the end of the day, how much ever discipline we may have, we are still human beings. The emotion side of it, you cannot take it away. I can become a very, very big expert, but I cannot take those emotions away. And in the heat of the, the candles moving, price moving, you do make mistakes. And I do that often because, I get ahead of myself. So it's almost every day a learning process in the discipline field. So I think that keeps me, because I'm not a person to give up. So I want to have one edge over the market. So, how could you win? I need to win. So, yeah.
Right. Let me say something really quick because I have to go at 2 o'clock. Nargis, you are a sweet, sweet lady. Do not beat yourself up when you make a mistake. There's nobody that gets it right all the time. I for myself, even when I have losing trades, I call it amnesia. You got to get up the next day and have amnesia. You pretend that the day before it didn't even happen. It's just like if you're in a relationship, you're in a bad relationship, it doesn't work out, or you're never going to fall in love again. You can't be like that with trading. And we always learn. We learn and we get better as we go along over time. it's easy to say take your emotions out of trading, but the fact is we're human beings, and I find it interesting, specifically as a woman. What I've known ever since I started trading is my emotions help me trade. When I have high conviction in something, I will take more risk or I will hold it. Now, again, it doesn't mean I get it right all the time, but the fact is that when you are looking at something and trying to pretend you don't have emotions, you're trying to pretend you're not a human being. Human beings have emotions. And as a woman, and I teach men, it's interesting because people say women have a lot of emotions. You would not believe how emotional men are. Men are extremely emotional. They just don't always say how they feel, but men are very emotional. And most of my clients are actually men. So embrace your emotions for trading and you'll learn from it. Be angry one day, be pissed off at yourself, but get up the next day and get over it.
Yeah,
I agree.
I just go and eat sweets, stuff myself and say tomorrow I won't do it. But yeah, it's because see, this is a very lonely game. You're sitting and doing it all alone. So sometimes, it's a good way to think with your own self. And I like to, this habit is coming from my mom. When she does things, she does it perfectly the first time. So if you don't do it perfectly the first time, then she would, so very hard. So I've learned to relax myself, to not take it so hard on me, to not to be that perfectionist. And so I'm slowly getting there. And I run a chat room which is totally free as of now. So I'm also teaching the people who are there with me that learn to ladder your profits, and also make sure your losses are small. Don't get emotional about this is going to come up or this is going to do that. Take it and just move on.
Risk is very important. And
yeah,
remember, it's just one trade. It should count as only one bullet. I mean, that's it. It shouldn't be devastating. You have to keep the risk in check all the time. All the time. It's just one trade. I mean, you cannot have, there is no perfect system in existence where, you have where you have that perfect system where you're never going to have a stop. I'm pretty sure everybody in here experience losses, but it's what makes us move beyond those losses. It's not catastrophic for us. We're not betting on GME all in, right? We have a variety of stocks. We're diversified. If you're swing trading, you're diversified. You're never going 100% on your account into one trade or three trades. You always have something up your sleeve that can take you out. For example, market crashing, you want to take a little bit of a VIX, or I don't know, different strategies, or you want to go long an index or go short an index. Or I think it's very important to have a really good game plan and how to bounce back. And I think it's very important to self-motivate yourself, and don't take it. I don't take it personally of course I don't like it, because I don't like losing money. So I like making money more than I lose. And it's not very comfortable to lose money, but it's inevitable at one point, especially as day traders. I'm telling you, you are going to have losses as day trader more often than swing trading, because you're dealing with algorithms throughout the day. You're dealing with a lot of stuff, institutional trading, like Melissa, she trades gaps, so she knows best, how these institutions are moving the price around. So you have to wait for that calibration to happen in order to, find those really good trades that are slower. And when the market is super fast, I just sit back, I just wait until the market comes down and shows me the direction. So I think it's very important. It's very important when we have a loss to not have a negative, let's say, it doesn't have to have a negative connotation. And it doesn't have to ruin your day, or it doesn't have to ruin your night. It's just one trade in an ocean of trades. That's what it is. So Sunny, I'm going to ask you, what keeps you motivated? You've been trading for so many years, and I think that all of us agree here that of course, we love money. That's why we're here. Okay. But it goes beyond that. And I think it's a passion. It's also a passion, hobby, whatever you call it. I think it's really motivating. It's the thrill, it's the adrenaline, It keeps you, it keeps your mind sharp. So there's so much more to trading than just money.
Well, I'm a coffee addict, so I like the adrenaline feel. I really do. But I think it's a feeling of power. You know, it's a very powerful feeling to make money out of the markets. And I wanted to say about losses. I've had 3 losses so far this year, and I trade 4 or 5 times a day. So the sunny bands keeps me on the right side of the trade. But
on the sunny side.
Yes, that's right. In fact, I have a little newsletter I call the sunny side of the street. So yeah, it does keep me on the sunny side of the market. But I have a saying, losses happen. You know, it's just, they do. It's
They
just
do.
Everybody.
Exactly.
You have to be sure you don't make them big losses. Big
Right.
losses and small wins is the worst way to do it, right?
Exactly. Marina, how do you react to losses? Do you have a secret formula? You snap out of it?
Well, I don't think you can snap out of it just like that, right? It's quite complicated, but it's kind of like what Melissa was saying, you know, you can't dwell. I actually even say we have to be like athletes, right? To have short memories, because if an athlete messes up, and they normally do, because that's just normal, they say they have to have short memories, and you just got to get over it, get past it, like your wounds, and look for that next valid move. It's harder to do, obviously, than to say. And also have a threshold, right? Like, what is your threshold? How many losses are you able to take? So I am very specific, right? And if I go over that and I desperately want a revenge trade and go after more trades, I just press that sim button. I've been there too much to know that you could actually lose way more after you get into that emotional state of mind, I guess you could say, right? But it's so much easier to say than do, because emotions are weird, right? So you really need to really work on your mental strength. That's the most important thing that I find.
Yeah. Archna, how do you come back from a loss? What keeps you motivated to keep on going?
Because I want to be in control. Power. I agree.
Power in control.
Yes. I mean, I could not work for anybody at all. Corporate was never for me. So if I don't make it, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I have to keep going.
Absolutely. Megan, what keeps you motivated to stay in the game?
I think that, you know, everybody's made some really good points that nobody's right 100% of the time, right? Or we'd all be rich, or maybe all of y'all are rich, but I'm just saying that that there's no way that you can always be dead on. And so I think if you can take pieces and learn and say, okay, how can I improve upon this? How can I, you know, not step in this next time? Or little tweaks of at least, okay, this is my takeaway and this is how I would approach it differently next time. I think that's the way that I look at it. But knowing that your batting average isn't going to be 100 ever. Nobody's is.
No, that's true. All right. One last thought here. I know Melissa has to go, and I have one last question that I want to ask you guys. And the question is, we have a lot of traders that are new to trading, and we would like to know, what advice would you give any beginner trader? Melissa, I'm going to start with you. So what advice would you give to a trader that is just starting trading right now?
Well, my advice to any person that's new is that you have to learn how to trade first before you risk any money in the market. I know a lot of people get anxious and they want to start risking real money, but I think it's okay to trade in a demo, at least for a week or a month even, until you get used to doing it. And if you want to trade with real money right out of the gate, then fine, but you still have to learn what to do first, which means take a class, whether it's my class or anyone else's here. You got to have some kind of structure to what you're doing. Why are you doing the trade? Again, I'm going to go back to the Reddit people, the GME. Going into a chat room and taking trades that people are taking is like, what's the structure there? So there isn't any. And specifically when you're new, don't get sucked into thinking that this is a get rich quick scheme. It is not. It's longevity that helps you make it in the long term and to do this. You want to be able to, the market's going to be open forever. If it didn't close out last year, that week when the market halted because of COVID, it ain't closing anytime soon. So the market will always be around. You have forever to trade. So I think if you are wanting to do this, you have to give yourself the patience and the understanding to slowly move into it. And again, it's not gambling. This YOLO thing that everybody has going on, which is the hashtag for the Reddits with the GME, that's gambling. No one should ever risk their whole account in one trade. No one should ever risk their whole account in one position or think that they're going to make $1 million in one position. And as far as someone was saying about rich people and this and that and the other thing, listen, people with a lot of money sometimes make mistakes. The hedge fund that was in GME was short. They were short this stock because of the fact that it was in a downtrend, but they made a mistake. They didn't exit the position and take the loss when the trade went against them. They held it too long and turned what was a normal loss into a massive loss for their fund. So even if you are rich and even if you have a lot of money, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to make the right choice all the time. You have to assess how much money you have and your risk and understand that sometimes that you will lose. And if you're new to this, you have to take it easy on yourself and be patient with yourselves because it's about consistency and longevity in the game.
I mean, take a look at Melvin Capital hedge fund. They didn't respect their rules. They were doubling down. They kept on shorting. You know,
yeah, I mean, they should have exited that. I'll tell you where they should have exited. They should have exited when it blew over the high. It was around 125, 126 is where they should have got out of it, and they didn't. And it created and in fact, I don't think they ever really fully disclosed them where they did exit the whole position, or even if they ever did. But the reality is that who would ever invest with a firm like that again? If you had substantial money, if you had millions of dollars, why would you give those people money when they made a bad choice? Because they were down in a position that seemed like a good position at the time, but then didn't cut their losses, and a small loss can turn into a big loss very quickly. And that's why I use stops when I trade. And people, especially beginners, they have to use stops because the broker will not cut you off. A Robinhood did for some places, but a normal broker, like you go to Ameritrade, E-Trade, they'll let you lose all your money. They're not managing your account. You're managing your account.
Very important advice. Thank you so much. And yeah, I totally agree. I use stops all the time. And I think everybody in here, that's why we stop out of trades, right? That's why we have losses. All right, Marina, tell us a little bit about what advice would you give to a brand new trader, a trader that is just starting trading right now?
Well, I think the most obvious one is don't be live until you really, really, really understand your strategy or understand what you're looking for. You know, just going in and start donating your money to the market because, you know, it looks like it's a good place or somebody said something, that is a recipe for disaster. You know, you'll be able to eventually give your money anyways. So first learn. Basically, you can't jump into a car and somehow manage to figure out where the accelerator is and brake and take it on a highway, right? It's the same thing with the stock market. And that's pretty much what I say. You know, a lot of people are like, well, you have to go live to really learn. Not if you don't know what you're doing. You know, you can't fly a plane if you don't have a clue where the cockpit is. So basically, that is really my number one advice, is to really, really learn what you're doing first and then have fun afterwards. But first learn.
Absolutely. How about you, Nargis? I bet you have new traders, beginner traders in your chat room.
Yes, and then I get a lot of queries regarding this. A lot of people ask me, like, I want to go become a full-time trader, leave my job. And I said, no, don't do that. Do not leave your job until and unless you can make a consistent amount of money on a daily or weekly basis, so that you know you are covered. That income is very important to you to, you know, not just gamble into something which you're just starting out. So, and the most important thing which I tell everyone is, you know, when I give a trade, whatever trade I take, I post it. So whoever is interested, they take it as well. And then I put a stop loss. So the main message I give them is, please honor the stop loss. It's okay if you did not make profit, but it's not okay to let the loss go below than, you know, what that. And also the most important thing is, let's say I'm giving a technical stop loss. But if your account is a small size, you may not be able to honor the technical stop loss. So know your account size, know your risk from based on that account size versus, you know, somebody saying, okay, if it goes below, then you are out. No, if you have a $1,000 account, then a technical loss can be a little bit too deeper for you to handle it. So have a stop loss based on your risk, not my risk or somebody else's risk. And
position
also
size.
Position
size is key. Yeah.
Position sizing.
Otherwise, you're all over the place.
You're all over the place. Yeah. Because people were actually trying to go crazy over GME and AMC and everything. I know when AMC was going, people were, in my room itself, like, oh, this is going, that euphoria was coming out because, hey, we bought it we got in AMC at $3. Okay. And then next day it was $5 or $6. And then, so I said, okay, you know what, lock in your capital here and let the rest run, because now your capital is off. It doesn't matter where AMC goes because you have your money already, right? Whatever comes out will be a bonus. And next day it was, $11, $12 running because so much short covering was happening. And based on my numbers, I said $19 would be the high for the day. Looks like, I mean, this can go really crazy, but you put an order to sell it at that price. Or if it goes below that price, please exit, lock your profit. You do not win a lottery every day. Okay,
Sure.
lottery is a once in a lifetime or once in a year or something like that, not an everyday thing. Take your money and run, because a penny stock is giving you $18. Take it and run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sunny, what advice would you give to a beginner trader that is just starting trading right now?
Well, I teach a lot of beginning traders. My books are all aimed at beginning traders, and I have a lot of clients who are students who I teach. But I tell them three things. First, study, study, study. Secondly, find or create or purchase a strategy. Yeah, to me, I have to have a strategy defined, well-defined. Mm-hmm. And third, trade your strategy. Just follow the strategy. And as long as I'm trading my strategy, I'm happy. Even if I have a loss, if I'm trading the strategy, that's a good thing. But if I'm not following the strategy, that's the real loss to me.
Right. It's true. Thanks so much, Sunny. How about Archna? What advice would you give a beginner trader?
The best advice I would give, technicals can be learned, and you can read books. They all tell you the same thing, but people don't make money because they don't know what is written in the book. It's because they're not able to manage their emotions. So know yourself. Whether you are, don't say that you're a swing trader or a day trader, and don't honor your stop and make it, and a trade becomes an investment kind of a thing. So know yourself. How much can you lose? How much you are willing to lose? How much you are willing to risk? If you may have $100,000 account, and you put $2,000 in a position, and if you are not able to handle that, then what's the point of $100,000 account? So then your risk is not even $2,000 because that pains you. So you are not a high risk, high reward kind of a personality. Somebody else may be a high risk reward personality. So what you can handle, what you cannot handle, what pains you, what does not pain you, what you can, and another thing, don't put your financial well-being or your family's financial well-being at risk. Trading is not gambling.
Yeah. Megan, is there something you want to add here?
I would say that the biggest thing that's helped me is understanding kind of what's driving my hypothesis. Why do I think that this is going to make a different move? And I think everybody on this panel has different reasons and different drivers of their own hypotheses, and that's individual trading styles, and that's awesome. But I like having access to consumer data. I like being able to understand what consumers are buying, how that's changed over time, how that sentiment has changed over time, because I feel like that makes me smarter. That gives me an edge, that I have a reason for thinking that this company is going to perform better or going to perform worse. And so I think that's a really basic level if you're just getting started, just to understand that there are lots of data sources out there, and there are lots of resources out there that you can use to better inform your own hypotheses. And it's really important to understand why you're doing what you're doing versus just, madly following the crowd. Use the data sources that you have to your advantage, so that you can make the best decision.
I agree. And we have to pay attention what social media is doing. We have to pay, because they're driving the markets.
Right. Whether you like it or not, it matters. And so it's more helpful to know, this is what people are talking about, and this is what's important to consumers, whether or not you decide to jump in personally. That information is power.
I know. Now it's we, the traders. All right. So if here's my advice for those of you that are just starting your career. Melissa talked a little bit about this. I think that the most important thing is to become educated before you jump into a trading room or follow someone, because you're following someone else's trading plan. Your style may be different. Your objective may be different. So you're basically following someone blindly. I think the most important thing is to become educated. There are a plethora of books that are out there. There are so many technical analysis books, and the market is so technical. It's incredibly technical, and it's becoming more and more technical. This is not the market that we had last year. This is not the market that we had 2 years ago. This is not the market that we had 5 years or 20 years ago. It's a totally different structure and a totally different ball game. Where technicals work, fundamentals are probably in a proportion of 5 to 10%. You're going to see stocks like, I don't know, maybe Amazon that will have bad earnings and hypothetically bad earnings. And then you're going to be seeing the stock gap down and technically bought and brought back up, let's say in 2 days or 3 days or a week. So you can see that all the time. It's not about fundamentals as much anymore as technicals. And I think one of the most important things is to get it down and to learn how to put everything together. I think putting everything together is one of the most important things that you could do for your trading, because everybody knows how to identify support, how to identify resistance, how to identify this, how to identify setup. But how to put everything together, time frames. And I know there are some questions in the room that we're going to get to in just a second. And one of the questions is, okay, risk control. Other question is trailing stop. Another question is time frames. You will be trading someone else's plan. So that's not going to be your plan. I agree, and if that person is successful and it's showing you a track record, a phenomenal track record, yeah, go ahead and follow that person. But if you do not know that person, if that person doesn't have a track record per se, everything becomes a little bit questionable, So how are you making it work? Oh my gosh, look at that cutie.
She was making noise, so I thought I'd pick her up.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Okay, awesome. So I think the other thing that Nargis tapped into, I think it's they go hand in hand, learn your risk. So it's fine if you, Sean Block, diamond hands. Well, I have to tell you something here, and we're going to answer some questions. On one hand, it's great to have a diamond hand, and it's really great to have a paper hand on the other side, because you can juggle both actions really well. You can trail into targets, so that could be a really good idea. But again, position size, it is very important to think about based upon your account size. If you have, for example, even if you have a really big account size and say, hey, I want to trade my own money. I don't want to give it to a hedge fund. I don't want to give it to anyone else to trade it. I want to trade it. I want to learn how to trade it on my own. It's fine if you go on a smaller size. For example, use 0.5% risk, 1% risk. Don't go all the way to 3 or 5%. You could go to 3 or 5% if you really know what you're doing. And then again, start small in a simulated account. Don't stay there too long, because I know I teach trading and I know what traders are doing. They go in a simulated account and they hit that account with 10 contracts. They go like a small move and they go like, oh, I can make it trading. It's like no big deal to make 2 to 3 grand a day. But the reality is it's so different. When you're trading live, you're putting emotions in line. So it's a totally different ball game, and you're going to enter the trade. And if it goes the opposite direction, and if you don't know where your stop is, you're going to go like, oh my God, what do I do now? Or even when you go and hit target 1, for example, you're paralyzed because you have no idea what to do. You either take your profits too soon, which is not a good idea, or you just freeze and the trade goes quickly against you. So you have to have a real good plan when you trade. So I think that these two go hand in hand, position sizing and also knowing how to trail, knowing technical analysis, because trading, it's not only about nailing the top or the bottom. It's not a perfect pattern. It's not the trend. Trading is a combination. Trading is a system. And once you understand the system, then you can trade. And then go small, go small and trade small. Let's say stay in a simulated account for about 2 weeks, just long enough so you can get accustomed to your platform, to your broker, to your orders, and then move to a very, 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 very small size and start trading for the next 2 weeks. And then get on board and start position sizing. That would be my advice to traders. And ladies, we do have some questions from the audience, and just very few questions here that we have. One of them is, Nargis, we love you and we love your group. Okay. Okay, so can you gals discuss which asset classes you use and why, and also time frames? This is from Stephanie. So I'm going to start with you, Marina, if you don't mind, your asset class and why.
So I mainly day trade the E-minis, but as far as asset class, I do also invest, and I love to invest. I guess I'm pretty broad with my investments, but as far as really, really focusing on day trading, it would definitely be the E-minis. Those are my absolute favorite, and that's what I focus on the most.
Awesome. All right. Sunny, what is your favorite asset class and time frame?
Well, I trade the E-mini futures contract on a 1 and 5 minute time frame. So I have a 1 minute chart for entering the trades. A 5 minute is considered long term for me. On stocks, though, I use a daily chart.
Awesome.
And then I enter.
Trading. Yeah.
I enter on the 15-minute chart then.
Awesome. Okay, Nargis, your favorite asset class and your time frame?
Yeah, like all the women here, I also trade the S&P ES and XPX. My account, as I said before, is never free of an XPX, either some premium collection basically. So it's going on there. So yesterday I took an IC Iron Condor, and I took 100 points upon, but not sure if due to the volatility 100 points could hit easily, but luckily the price is staying in between and it's touchwood going to expire worthless. So that is something stationary which goes on the side, and then I'm going up and down. And the the stocks which I trade is mostly on a higher time frame, like a daily setup. The monthly setups are the best to give. So I know there is a lot of talk about WSB and this pushing and that pushing, but if you go and look at the technicals of GME and AMC, the monthly cycle fired. But in a normal circumstances, like a few years ago, that would be a ladder, meaning the price is going up, relaxing, going up in a slow motion. It would eventually hit maybe 400 or 500, right? But in a few years, not in 5 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the momentum behind was so much force, so much force the cycle fired, that it did it in 5 days. That is not normal. But apart from that, if you just look at the chart, the monthly would have given you a nice entry there around $12.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I have to say, that I was a GME trader. So I traded it twice. Yesterday it fired. Today hit target 150. I'm out. Okay.
Yes, we traded it too. Yeah. So we in our room we had given the price at $88 because if it was a real move, which is because stock or price, they always test and retest, right? Mm-hmm. On a smaller time frame, on a higher time frame. Yeah. So when it came down, so I felt that 88 is a good support for it to land on. That would complete a nice extension, and from there, so a few of the people who were brave enough to take it, they took it, and then I gave them the level 124 to 125. 125 to 134. Then next look for 150 to 200 somewhere. So it is going on. But then I said, please book your capital first and then let the free runners go, because then you're off risk. So
I have to agree. And
this beast, you can't just mess with it.
No. So you really have to know what you're doing. You really have to know what you're doing. And I have to tell you that last week, I've been trading for over 25 years. And I have to tell you that last week was my biggest week on record because of GME.
Wow.
So it was literally a huge week, something that I have never, and it was a record because, that type of cash I usually make, but it's not in one stock and it's not in 2 days. Okay.
Yeah.
That
So,
was.
Anka, since we are on this topic, can I hit on one more thing?
Yes.
Maybe you guys can say that if the identification or the observation is a little bit okay, so I was just trying to see, sometimes I procrastinate. Okay, I've gotten far better at it, but what I've realized is, and also I look at a lot of women traders in my room who are good traders and who are newer traders. We procrastinate a lot. Analysis, paralysis, and then, oh my God, I missed that move. That happens a lot to women, okay, as compared to men. If I give them the setup, they immediately go execute it and come out with a profit, 20% profit, 50% profit, whatever, etc., etc. Or I got stopped out, right? So this mentality, I think this is, maybe it is the upbringing which we have in the society and all that we are taught to think a lot, prim and proper, and that sometimes come as a hurdle to us women. I mean, not everybody is the same, but generally I'm talking about. So that's where I found a little bit difference between the women traders and the men traders. They are fast, they act fast because they are trained to be breadwinners, so they go and act fast. We are thinking, and let the opportunity pass sometimes. So one of the things which I try to teach my women traders is, take the trade, take it with one contract, take it with a very small amount, one share maybe, and practice it. Worst case, you will get stopped out at your this thing, but learn to execute. And I'm learning too, because even I give the trade, people made a lot of money on GME and I was sitting there doing nothing. So yeah.
Okay, I can step in here and tell you something that my mentor taught me. And I've learned this very early on, and this has helped my career incredibly. He taught me not to think. He said, you have to be trader extraordinaire. And in order to be trader extraordinaire, your job is just to identify setups. That's it. And it's your obligation to apply risk management and take all the trades that fit your criteria, all of them. And once I start doing that, everything just changed, because you're coming into the market with this thinking that I've got to take a trade because I've got to make money. But in reality, capital preservation comes first. If there's a trade opportunity, you're going to take it. If there is no trade opportunity, do not take it. And if you see a setup that form, take the trade. Do not think. My mentor told me that there is no thinking in trading, zero. You either have the trade or don't have the trade, because if you have to squint at the pattern, think about the pattern, you're not going to take the trade. You're going to find a million reasons why you are not going to take the trade. You see the setup, you see the pullback, you see the rotation, it's on support, bam, that's it. That's the trade. You have your entry, your stop, your targets, done. It's done. Identify trades. So be like an algo. So what I did is, when I started, trading as a retail trader 18 years ago, is in the first 3 months, it was going really well. So I was really happy, because it's one thing when you do not have that paycheck coming in. So it's a lot of stress, because I quit my job and just to trade. And so I came from high time frames. I was just trading the annual charts. I was trading monthly charts. So I dove into day trading, which was a totally different ball game, because my eyes needed to adjust to the price action. It was just so fast. It was fast paced. When I started to trade, I respected the rules. 3 months out, I was doing great. And then it happened. I was looking for the Holy Grail. I was like, there should be something out there like that magic indicator. There should be something out there that can make my life so easy. By the way, GME's at it again. It's into an hourly rotation right now. Is really looking good. Okay.
Yes, I think the 2 hour wants to fire higher above 151.
There you go.
151.
Yep.
I have a teeny tiny call in it. Let's see if it rewards me.
Awesome. It will. It will. It has to get over. I have a resistance spot into the 140, 146 level. So if it should get over this, we should be seeing a little bit higher. But look at that inside week. That is pretty sweet, because next week, if we start trading above that, if we see like a peekaboo high, up it goes. So,
but if you see, Anka, did you notice that now GME they're controlling it so much, they're not letting it free run like it was before. Even though the squeezes is being firing simultaneously on all time frames. Now 2 hour just fired and they're still controlling it tight.
Yeah, and hedges are in this as well. So it's not all retail. And don't tell me, don't tell me that Wall Street bets push that price higher.
No. This is, I mean, you can't, it cannot happen like that. This is a big number.
You could get like all the accounts in the world and it's not going to push that. Sunny, yes.
Yes, I'm going to have to sign out.
Okay.
11 o'clock is my hard stop and we're over. So I have to say goodbye, I'm afraid.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We really looking forward to seeing you at a next event, not necessarily next year, but a next event.
We're doing another one.
For sure. Thank you so much, Sunny, for being here.
And,
Thank you.
Might I suggest that we all trade emails and keep in touch?
Yes,
we do.
I agree.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I had to agree with Nargis. Sometimes I overthink too.
Yeah. Overthinking. It's not uncommon, especially. Yeah, it's not uncommon, especially with us women. But I'm telling you, try to detach yourself and say, hey, I am here to identify a trade. That's it. And if it comes your way, you're looking at entry stop targets, just take it. Take with small size, but that's how you build confidence.
Doing that. I'm like, when I see the setup, I don't care. I won't take my normal size, but one contract, I have to take it. I have to take because I saw the setup. I started doing that and it made a huge difference.
Yeah. So I have to, I'm going to share a screen here.
Sorry, I have to put in.
Okay.
Hi, I actually have to go as well. This was my hard stop as well. I just wanted to say thank you so very much. And it was a real pleasure meeting all you ladies. It's great seeing other women day trading. But thank you so much, Anka and David, for having me, and have a super weekend, everybody.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Marina. Have a great weekend. Charge your batteries. On Monday, we have a brand new week.
Yes, for sure. Bye.
So, okay, so technically, GME was a really good blast. If you're looking at daily charts, you had some indecision candles, and then you had the fire up like Nargis said. So I think we have to wrap it up here, guys. It's been so fun talking to you. And like Sunny said, we have to keep in touch. Is there any last thoughts that you would like to share with everybody in here? Any last thoughts?
I think we as women traders, though we are overcoming all the hurdles of the main markets, we still need to, support each other, be there for each other, mentor each other, so that, we not only develop that confidence, but also move ahead, in terms of actually trading and making money. So what I've noticed on Twitter is these boys, they all support each other. There'll be a lot of hash FFs and a lot of this and that. And hardly I see a women trader in there. So that still is a black hole. And it's not that anybody's doing deliberately or something. It's just, the conditioning. Yeah. So now a lot of women traders are getting recognized. So what you started or what you're doing is also a part of that. So thank you to you and bringing us forward actually. So that helps a lot. And slowly this is also creating more confidence in women traders that yes, their charts are good, their analysis is good, so yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I agree. You will
I
see
agree.
those traders will meet and have a YouTube channel, and then they're doing all that stuff. And I'm like, what about us?
I know.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to get women traders together because there are so many female traders. And I think that we need to be heard in a domain where, men are, number one here, and I think that we bring a lot to the table. Melissa mentioned earlier, sometimes we're a little bit more emotional. We tend to think a little bit more, but I think these are advantages, these are not disadvantages. Think about it. All right. So
looking for a trend trade, long-term BSX was my trade because you had asked for a trade that you're looking at. So I'm looking at BSX, Boston Scientific, if anybody wants to look at it.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, ladies, this is it for today. Thank you so much for your participation. It was phenomenal to have you. So don't forget to follow on Twitter, Archna. She has a lot of information that she shares with everybody and levels and charts. And Nargis, not only that she's a phenomenal trader, but she's a phenomenal cook. So my mouth waters every time and every weekend, and I really wish that you lived closer. Okay, so thank you.
Anka, we are going to have a live in-person summit, and then we are going to have all the goodies.
Why not have meetups actually?
Yeah. Once
we are planning actually. So next year, obviously, we're going to have also an online event. And following that event, we want to do something live. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything's going to be fine and everybody will be able to travel freely. And we were thinking about Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, wow. Make money in the market and give it to Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
no gambling, just trading. No gambling, just trading. Maybe we could do some live trading. That would be really interesting. Yes. So not only lectures, but also live trading. That would be, that's where I would love to come in. It's fun, when you do presentations, but the fun is behind the scenes when you trade. So thanks so much, ladies. It's been a blast this whole entire week. And also to our audience, thank you so much for being here with us today as well. This concludes the 5-day event. And I'm pretty sure you guys, and we saw a lot of questions there that we were not able to address. We will incorporate them into our next sessions. And also you guys can get a hold of us. You guys are going to have the full recording with our emails and everything. So they're already processed. They're on the TimingResearch.com website. Go ahead, watch the video, send us the emails. We love to hear from you and share our passion for trading with everyone. And we love to empower women. We want to see more and more women join the trading force. So thanks so much, everyone. Happy weekend. And this is a wrap. Thank you, David. You have the mic.
All right, thanks. Great session here. Great discussion. So glad we were able to do this to close out the event. Yeah, like Anka said, you can always go to TimingResearch.com and get all the archives, as well as if you search for Timing Research on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, you can get audio-only presentation versions of all the presentations as well. In case you don't have time to, watch every video. We did 34 presentations this week, including this discussion, with 26 different presenters. So it was a great week, and yeah, thanks everyone for being here. And just a quick mention: you can take out your calendars and mark up some dates for our next events. In May, we have a psychology, discipline, and time management event that we're planning right now. It's May 5th and 6th. And then in June, we're going to have a 3-day event with a different focus each day. So June 8th will be futures. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, June 9th will be Forex. And Thursday, June 10th will be stocks and options. And then in July, we're planning a favorite indicators event. So that's July 20th and 21st.
A lot of questions will
indicators
be answered with that indicator. I know that we had today some questions with indicators and time frames.
Yeah. So those are the big ones we have planned for the next few months. So just watch, if you're subscribed to Timing Research, watch your email and watch Twitter and Anka's Twitter for more posts and information. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, and thanks for having us, David and Anka. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.